Hi Cancer, welcome back to my channel Tarot Z. I'm Z and I'm going to be doing your tarot reading, finding out what the messages are that come through with the cards that come out in this reading for you. Thank you so much for joining and for being here. So let's begin. Let's find out what messages come out and what cards come out. So the first card that we have is the Hierophant. We do have Taurus energy, could be dealing with Taurus. We have the Three of Swords in the reverse. And we have the Lovers and the Star. So with the Star card, we do have Aquarius energy, could be dealing with an Aquarius or a Gemini with the Lovers card. So with the Star card showing up over here at the bottom of the deck, this does feel like an energy of longing. I do feel like there is some distance. This does feel like some distance either on an emotional level or a physical level, but this does feel like an energy of being in a space of longing. And I do feel like that could be someone really missing someone in the situation. And I also feel like when it comes to that, it's like somebody is really affecting somebody very deeply, but I do feel like it's at a distance. With the Star card showing up over here, this is a very hopeful energy as well as longing. And I do feel like when it comes to being in a space of really thinking about the future and being hopeful about the future, this does feel like an energy of being very hopeful for things to come. And also I feel that there's also a sense of being in a space of being hopeful and even just excited about being able to bridge a gap in distance. I do feel like with the Hierophant card showing up over here that this does feel like an energy of really being in a space where somebody is really committed to making things work. I do feel like they're also quite committed to making things work in a particular way. I do feel like with the Hierophant, this is a pretty traditional energy, but I do feel like it's also a very committed one as well. So when it comes to being able to show up a certain way, I do feel like it's certain things that affect the way this person shows up. And I feel like that could be things like this person's tradition, this person's morals. And I do think that with this Hierophant card showing up over here, this also feels like a lot of wisdom that this person may have around the way in which they show up for a connection or the way that they view relationships as a whole. And I do feel like with this Hierophant card showing up over here, the way you make this person feel is this feeling of wanting to be able to commit. I do feel like there's also that desire to be able to do that. And I feel that it's coming from a place that's also from within for themselves. And I do feel like with this Three of Swords showing up in the reverse here, that this does feel like an energy of having gone through a time of healing. I do feel like this does feel like a time of being in a space where it's like you are getting over something from the past. And I do feel like this does also feel like an energy of showing up in a more stronger version of yourself. And I do feel like with the Three of Swords, this also feels like being able to learn a lot from a past experience. And I do feel like it's a lot of healing, and I feel like it's a very personal energy. And I also feel like it's an energy of deciding not to let any kind of pain define you. And I do feel like moving forward, there is this newfound strength as well. So with the Lovers card showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of being able to actually have and embrace a connection that is filled with a lot of love. I do feel like there's also there's a sense of being able to recognize each other on a soul level, having this strong bond with someone. I also feel like with the Lovers card showing up over here, this does feel like having a lot of passion in the connection as well. I do feel like the love is quite strong, and also feel like that is something that is mutual within this connection. I do feel like it goes quite deep. And I do feel like when it comes to any actions taken, I do feel like a lot of actions are being taken with this feeling, really motivating actions in this connection. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of emotion, and I feel like there's a lot of passion that's also kind of pushing things forward in this connection. And I do feel like with this Three of Swords showing up in the reverse, that this may be an energy that's kind of taking you out of a comfort zone. I do feel like this is also something that's happening once you are in a space to be able to embrace it. I do feel like following a healing journey and being in a space where you are open to welcoming in the love. I do feel like it's there. And I also feel like this person is someone who is definitely open to being able to have a relationship, and I feel that they want a more committed one. And with the Star card showing up at the bottom of the deck, there may be distance. I do feel like the feelings remain quite strong with the Star card at the bottom of the deck. I'm going to clarify these cards. So we have the Knight of Swords. We have the Ace of Pentacles. And we have the Two of Swords in the reverse. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. So the Hermit card, we do have some Virgo energy. You could also be dealing with a Virgo. So this Hermit card showing up at the bottom of the deck, this does feel like a sense of isolation. I do feel like there could be some distance. There could also be a period of not hearing from someone. I do feel like with this Hermit card, this is really taking time out, being in space, taking some space from a connection. And I do feel like this is a very isolated period, but I do feel like there's a lot of longing even in that time. And with this Knight of Swords, this does feel like an energy of wanting to be able to actually experience a lot of communication or hearing from someone. And I do feel like it happens quite quickly. I do feel like it could even happen a bit suddenly, but this person is in a space where they are quite sure about what they want. I also get the sense that this person is someone who moves with intention. I do feel that with the Ace of Pentacles showing up over here, that you may be in a space where you want a connection that is going to be one that has stability, built on stability. And I do feel like that's something that you want to have within a connection. But with this Ace of Pentacles, I also feel like this is actually being able to enter into a new chapter. I do feel like this is a new beginning. I also feel like it's an offer to be able to enter into something new. I do feel like this is also a sense of having a lot of security, a lot of stability in mind when it comes to having a connection. And I do feel like this does feel like following any kind of healing journey that may have even been somewhat painful or heartbreaking, that this is a new opportunity, a new beginning. And I definitely feel like this is also one that has a more solid, it's more promising, it's more promising. So the Two of Swords showing up in the reverse, this does feel like having clarity. I also feel like taking action on a connection once a lot of clarity has been established. And I feel like when it comes to this Knight of Swords, this does feel like a very decisive energy. I do feel like this is also realizing how much someone means to you and something means to you. And I do feel like there's more clarity with that. There's going to be communication coming from a more deliberate and clear space. I also feel like it's very decisive. And I also feel like there's also a dropping of a guard, because with this Two of Swords showing up in the reverse, this does feel like somebody being able to be more open as well. And I do feel like the communication is more open. And I do get that with that Hermit card, this may be a time where things may have felt very, very distant, I do feel. And I do feel like with this Two of Swords showing up in the reverse, this is quite the opposite energy. I do feel like this is about being able to gain clarity from a situation, from being able to actually hear from someone. And I do feel like someone is getting more decisive on where they stand, how they feel about things. And I do feel like they're moving forward with more intention. So I'm going to clarify these cards. So we have the North Node with life purpose. We have parts of fortune with increase. And we have the 11th house with friends. So with this North Node card showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of purpose. I do feel like this person has more clarity on purpose of this connection for themselves. I do also feel like this could also be them being in a space where they are able to gain some clarity about what they want in the future, and I do feel like they're moving with more intention as well when it comes to your connection. And I do feel like this may also have to do with a higher purpose that this person has embraced and also decided upon. I do feel like there's more intentional energy with this person showing up in this reading as far as how they feel about you and how they feel about your connection. With a part of fortune card showing up over here, I'm getting this pertaining to this Ace of Pentacles. This does feel like a very abundant energy. I also feel like this does also feel like new opportunities, and I do feel like being in a space to really embrace them and being open to being able to have that is something that is also a part of that. And I do feel like with this part of fortune card, this may also be an energy of being able to experience sudden blessings and sudden increase, and it does feel like it's something that you didn't plan for, but it does feel like a welcome and pleasant surprise. I do feel like with this part of fortune that this could also be affecting you as far as in your work, but I also feel like as far as in your connection as well, this does feel like a pretty abundant connection, and I do feel like it is one that's quite promising in the future. With this 11th house card showing up over here, I'm getting it pertaining to this Lovers card showing up over here. This does feel like a sense of friendship, a sense of compatibility as well on the core level with someone. I do feel like there is also a sense of being able to experience this connection as being one that's quite fulfilling, even just on the more basic level between two people, where there's this understanding. And I do feel like with this Two of Swords, this does feel like an energy of gaining more comfort when it comes to opening up to someone, and I do feel like being able to connect on a deeper level because of being able to show up in a way where somebody is not as guarded as before. So with that Hermit card, this may have been what may have felt like no contact, but I do feel like that distance really impacts this person. I feel like it also could impact you, but I do feel like action is being taken coming from getting out of a space of having had been in deep introspection and deep thoughts about things. So those are the messages I'm getting with these cards for you, Cancer, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, Cancer.